Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. I thought I would dust off this series here and bring it back for just a little bit, talking about some new cryptids based on some old and current suggestions. So keep those new cryptid suggestions coming. I'm actually combing through some of the back ones that I've screenshot over these past couple of years, such is the case with this particular suggestion that occurred almost 3 years ago here on my channel. So again, I do see all the suggestions that you place. Sometimes it just takes me a while to be able to talk about them here. This is a very unique cryptid. Apparently, it's a real life animal in the sense that it's a missing link. So it's been living out there amongst the dense forest of South India for a good while. Just like any other animal, it just has yet to be found. And so it's also a mishmash of various animals into one, and it has some very unique traits associated with it. More on that here in just a moment. In fact, you're looking at a picture of it here. It's known as the Neelagiri Kaduva, also known as the Neelagiri tiger. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the fascinating info associated with this cryptid. I'll give my own thoughts and opinions on it too. Maybe those of you there in India, if you have more information, apparently a lot of the locals there do, then please post those comments below. So what is this Neelagiri Kaduva, again known as the Neelagiri tiger? Well, apparently, again, it is a cryptid found there in the dense forest of South India. Apparently, it's been there for a long, long time, but was just recently discovered around 2014, even though there's been tales associated with it, encounters linked to it as well, going on for much, much longer. That location, by the way, could help explain how this creature remains so elusive. I've seen pictures with regards to those forests of India. They obviously have so much foliage, so many trees surrounding them. I never visited them in person, but I could just imagine that a creature like this could easily camouflage itself, especially with the type of markings, the fur that it has on it, so that way it can basically almost become invisible within all that foliage and could be right nearby you and you would never ever really know. So otherwise, as far as experiences and encounters, more on that here in just a moment too. But let's first talk about the creature in of itself. So these are some of the unique traits associated with it. Number one, it's apparently both the size and shape of a tiger. So something already off the bat that would be perfect for those type of forests, and also have a good size linked to it too. You don't want to necessarily come across it, especially if you're by yourself, because when you think of something along the lines of a tiger, you can immediately think something that definitely hunts and preys on certain animals. So it's about that size and shape. But if you go to the face, apparently it's that of a dog. So this is where the missing link comes into play, where people have theorized that it could be somewhere in between. It could be a mishmash of a dog and a feline, like something along those traits. Why it has the face of a dog, nobody knows, but it does. And on top of that, it has some pretty large paws. Apparently, these paws can go up to several inches in length. And then on top of that, those paws have claws that do not retract. So you know how every other feline out there, especially those of you that have household cats like I do, you know that those cute little paws that they have hide those giant claws within them. Well, whenever they pop out, you'll see those claws, but the key thing is they're retractable. With this creature, they are not. They are forever outside of the paws. Who knows why that happens, but somewhere along the lines of the evolutionary trait of this Neelagiri Kaduva, that's what occurred. And then the fur that I was mentioning earlier, the camouflage that it has, it's reddish brown in color, and then it has these faded black stripes on it too. So perfect environment again to be able to remain so stealthy, so much so to the point that even though there's a lot of people, a lot of villagers there around that area that know about its existence, they're still not quite able to get a picture or any other type of video footage associated with it. In fact, now let's talk about some of the actual confrontations linked to this creature and some of the encounters that people have had. Most of these are again tied to the villagers living there near the forests. Apparently, there's a group that's also called the tribal groups. Those are the ones that know it so much that they give it a specific name. It's a colloquial name that's called the Paddy Kaduva, Paddy Puli, and then also known as the Nari. So I guess it's so well known there that it has three other separate subset of nicknames, and these locals know it and kind of fear it in some sense because this is the next turn associated with this creature. The locals know about it so much because it apparently attacks many of the livestock that they have there. And actually, when you have lots of villagers, lots of livestock, lots of farming areas there, and then the foliage surrounding it, you could just easily imagine this Neelagiri Kaduva just basically being surround that area, like surrounding that location, and then coming out during the nighttime and attacking the livestock itself to be able to feed on them. And then also it does this on goats, it does this on chickens. Unfortunately, it does this on dogs too. I don't know if these are the domesticated dogs there or if there's like packs of roaming wild dogs that are out there. But either way, they are there on the food chain, linked to this Neelagiri Kaduva, and then also other type of animals, like whatever other type of small animals that it happens to find out there within those forests, it will also attack. Luckily, there's no indication yet associated with attacks on people. Maybe this is a creature that knows its limits, like it knows that it can't necessarily attack people without finding some kind of severe repercussions. Is one thing to be able to do so on livestock. Obviously, there'll be the farmers and so on will be mad about that situation. But if they start attacking people, if this Neelagiri Kaduva starts doing that to family members, then that's when they'll severely retaliate. So maybe it just has that instinct. It knows not to attack people altogether. But this has been happening for quite some time. And the telltale sign is indicating with those large paw marks that I was mentioning earlier. Many of these attacks and many of the locations surrounding those areas, people will find those paw marks there indicating that yes, the Neelagiri Kaduva was around that location and it's obviously the culprit associated with these attacks. One of the people that actually helped identify this creature and apparently discovered it, at least some concrete proof, was a biologist by the name of Dejo Thomas. He apparently discovered it again in 2014. He was there in that area. There was apparently a month-long set of attacks that were occurring on domestic animals associated with those villagers, and so he was able to locate something linked to it, and in fact see it, but nothing in terms of actually taking pictures, nothing in terms of video or anything along those lines. What was found was this: there was some form of a piece of this creature, whether it was something involving fur, a claw, or something else. I didn't quite see that information there, but in any case, they were able to find this piece and then use it for some form of analysis. This analysis was in turn done at a place called the Cub of Neelagiri Kaduva. No, I'm sorry, it was actually a cub that was found, or a piece of a cub, and it was sent off to the department. It was either something involving the Karela Forest Department or some other department there, but it was believed that the piece that was found of this animal ended up coming from an actual cub. But here's where things take a strange and interesting turn. These results have never been published as of now because apparently that department decided to sabotage things. Why they decided to sabotage that only living piece of this animal, nobody knows for certain. Apparently, it's either could be linked to the not having this existence be verified to ensure that the villagers aren't truly frightened about what's happening. Like in other words, the government knows about the existence but wants to at the same time not make it public, so that way things just go as is. Or another one theory is that it's because it's a highly rare species. There's the notion that no, people don't want the government doesn't want these people to start hunting this creature. Obviously, when something is pretty rare, what does that mean, right? If it gets captured or if there's other pieces of it that are sold in some kind of market, they obtain a very high dollar value. So that could lead to the extinction associated with the Neelagiri Kaduva. And then there's even this, the idea that the sabotage was associated with jealousy. Also something involving political factors too. So Whatever happened to this piece there, nobody knows, but it's gone, and it was one of the few items that was actually linked to this creature, or at least the cub was, as far as its existence. Even though Deidre Thomas was able to speak to over 350 eyewitnesses throughout South India, and then also some of them even were describing some of the attacks in person, like they saw some live attacks occur throughout the daytime and also the nighttime, and also involving close quarter attacks too. None of it has led to any specific evidence, like real evidence in terms of pictures or video. There is one thing, though, apparently, that has some footage, if you could describe it that. Apparently, in 2021, there was CC footage of the Neelagiri Kaduva that was captured there at a location called Trivandrum, there at a district of Kerala, India. Apparently, the CCTV footage showcased this creature killing some of the livestock there, specifically some chickens. And so it was shown throughout some of the news on there, but it was hard to see, like, essentially what it was. Some people described it as looking more along the lines of another wild animal, maybe even something along the lines of a leopard, but it was hard to tell because of how grainy things were and how unclear it was overall. There was, again, no real indication that this could or could not be the Neelagiri Kaduva, but that's the closest, if you even want to consider that, to something showcasing that, yes, there's evidence of its existence. Video footage, in this case, if you wanted to consider it for that type of analysis. But that's pretty much it. That's all the information associated with this very unique cryptid. Missing link of sorts, real life animal. Again, a mishmash of something involving canine and feline to happen to be living there the whole time there in South India. But again, has a newer set of evidence finally being captured of it. Is it truly real? Is it truly out there, or is it a misidentified creature? All these eyewitnesses, again, hundreds of them that have known this creature's existence throughout all these years, all the villagers and so on. It's kind of hard to disprove it. At the same time, there's just not that smoking gun yet. But who knows? That might change tomorrow. There might be something else that comes out, and then all of a sudden, there it is. There's the proof that everyone needs. But let me know what you guys and gals think with regards to this creature and its existence. Anybody there from the South India area? Anybody from the villagers, like I happen to walk across them, know more information or history? Let me know. Post it in the comments below. All right, everyone. Thanks again as always. Take care.